Okay, I need to copy this, and I call it power pose. So.
Hello everyone, this is Joe Baker Photography, and today I'll be showing you how I work with a new model. Today's model is Madeleine. She has modeled before, but I always like to do my spiel so that she can understand how I communicate with my models. We always start with the legs, and the very first pose that I teach is called the power pose. So our feet are spread a little further than she would normally stand, and usually just outside the shoulders, and then I tell her to pop a hip, usually in either direction. The next pose is called the Stepover, one foot over the other. They can modify it by stepping more into it and letting the back heel raise a little bit, or just a different variations here and there, as you can see. The last pose is called the PP dance. It always gets a good laugh in, usually easier to remember, but basically both feet are together and they will bend one knee and then bring it across, kind of like I have to go to pee stance, hence the name. Now we get to the hands. They can put thumbs through their front belt loops or front pockets. I tell them to use their thumbs or their fingers, but not their entire hand in the pockets. Then we move to the side loops, and then to the back pockets. And it's the same rule for the back pockets, either the thumbs or the fingers, not the entirety of the hands. Then I like to do two hands on the hips. There are two variations I tell them about, fingers forward or thumbs forward. Usually you'll have them try the both. This next pose, although you can't see it, it's called the play with your fingers out front. I tell them to bring their hands to the front, loosen their wrists, and sort of play with their fingers and fingernails. I want them to look natural, so I usually will just tell them to pretend that you're rubbing fingernail polish off the ends of your nails. Then we move into the elbow hug, basically grabbing both elbows like it's cold, but the twist here is to drop a shoulder. This keeps them from looking boxy and adds more of a fashion look to it. From there, she can easily transition into the next pose, which I call the elbow grab. Let one of the arms drop and then grab just above the elbow. I tell them to grab it with purpose so it looks more confident than just placing their hand on their arms. From there, she can bring her hand back up and start to play with her earrings, her hair, hands on the face, play with the lips, neck, etc. If they have long hair, I love the hands in the hair pose, but I want them to actually play with their hair and not just place their hands on the outside of the hair. If they have long hair, pulling their hair into a temporary ponytail can be an amazing look as well. I tell models they don't have to necessarily look at the camera the whole time. They can look away, and here I'm demonstrating different angles to look for, highs or low looks. I do want them to avoid looking too far in either direction, as it can start to look a little alien or strange. Here I'm letting her know that she can rotate her body 45 to 90 degrees and do the same poses, but because she has turned a little bit, those poses will look totally different. As we are finishing up, I let her know that I want her to change something every time the flash goes off. It doesn't have to be a big drastic pose, but just subtle changes here and there and create different looks. So as we start to shoot, you can see how she combines the leg posing and the hand posing. During the first part of the posing session, I try not to make too many corrections as they are already nervous and I don't want them to get too much into the head. I'm always trying to build up their confidence throughout the shoot, especially during the beginning. This can really help set the tone for the rest of the shoot. After a few shots, I will always give them a high five and let them know that they did awesome as we review their images. This is why I tether most of the time. I want the model to be able to see their images right away, gain the confidence, and then we make minor adjustments here and there and discuss why some poses worked or why some were better than others. I don't linger too long on mistakes and focus on the good ones. We then continue the shoot, and for this particular outfit, we did some groundwork. I think it's important to keep the model's lines long and elongate the model, so I try not to use closed posing. Pointing the toes and extending the legs helps lengthen the lines. I like to start with the hip sit. I have them sit on their hip and bring their top knee over the bottom knee. One thing to look out for is the shoulder that they are leaning on. The shoulder muscle can bulge and give it an unflattering look, so I will try to hide it with their hair or have them gauge their core a little more, so not so much weight is being pushed down. The next ground pose I like is the laying on the side pose. As you can see here, I have her extend her arm and play with different neck positions and hand positions. I usually crop above the knee and not really worry about the feet at this point. Finally, the seated position. I will tell them to sit on their butt and point their feet toward light, as I want the face towards light in this situation. We make sure that the legs are at different heights to avoid the one leg look, and having her lean forward or back playing with the hair. Now, of course, these are not all the poses that I teach, but it's a good foundation to start with. As you can see from the final images, we have a good variety of looks, and I will tell you that she did amazing for her first real studio session. Be sure to keep your own energy up and let the models build on their confidence, and you'll see some awesome growth happen in such a short time. If you have some tips and tricks that you use for new models, please let me know in the comments. Finally, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification for future videos. As always, grab your camera and keep shooting.